Now, olfaction is another ancient chemical sense. It's also going to be, the detection by specialized cells that express specialized genes, that build specialized protein receptors that get embedded in their membranes, that can bind chemicals that are, this time, sort of aerosolized and volatile, that are actually in the air. That you can sort of, breathe basically into the nasal cavity. And the nasal cavity is actually quite an extraordinary, set of chambers in there, actually. There are these remarkable kind of bony, like very thin bones upon which sit, lots of what they call the olfactory epithelium, more of these cells that can actually bind, the chemicals in the air and then respond, with their receptors will open a channel, say to sodium, for example, or, depolarize the cell. And these cells are actually, they're called bipolar cells. They have two poles. They have one pole that sort of sticks into the nasal cavity and has all those receptors that can bind, the various, what are called odorants, the chemicals that are wafting off of things and that you're, breathing into your nose. And then they have, that's effectively the receptive end. It's receiving, right? So it's going to be the dendritic end, the dendritic pole. And then there's a cell body in the middle. That's the soma. And then there's another projection that's going to go right, we're going to see through your skull, directly into your brain. So the olfactory neurons are it's quite an interesting pathway that we'll be describing here. So again, olfaction is the detection of chemicals that are in the air, and these tend to be volatile, which means they're sort of wafting and free, and they're in the air that could be, and they can be inhaled. They tend to be small molecules because they are more likely to become volatile, and they're also hydrophobic, so they don't get pulled right onto a mucous membrane or some kind of a wet charged membrane. And not all chemicals that are volatile, small, or hydrophobic are actually detected. Famously, carbon monoxide is not, and that's quite dangerous for us. And so, we can get carbon monoxide detectors, for example. Methane is another one. Natural gas that is also not, readily or not detected by any of the odorant receptors, that are found in the nose. And so, we add sulfuric compounds into natural gas lines, so, we can smell other compounds that are being carried by the same line. But olfaction is an ancient chemical sense.